Okay, so Lori, to help others connect with your story, if you'd be comfortable just introducing yourself and telling us what brought you to Rivers Bend.
Sure. My name is Lori. I am a retired dog groomer. I'm a mother of two adults and a grandmother of two. I just became another grandmother again a month ago. Started out with Rivers Bend many, many years ago when my son was 12. He's now 31. We reached out to Rivers Bend after some difficulties with some substance abuse and behavioral issues and some mental health that we needed to get resolved. So that's how we started with Rivers Bend. And then over the years, later in through the years, I became client for myself, not just my son. Once we got through the things with him, I became a client myself. I'm currently still a client. I think I will be in therapy forever.
Smart.
Yeah, every human being can benefit from it.
That's great. Thank you. All right, the next question I have is looking back when you first reached out to Rivers Bend, what was happening in your life and what helped you decide that it was time to ask for support?
At the time, originally, when my son was having difficulties in school with trying to get a correct diagnosis, we'd been through several doctors and some misdiagnoses of ADD and whatnot. So, and then he was, beginning to get involved in some substance abuse also. So we just we couldn't handle it ourselves anymore. So, and there was also an aspect he was, he was getting in trouble. He was on probation, things like that. So we just really needed some direction and some good answers, right? Because we were getting kind of a lot of runaround. And like I said, he was also misdiagnosed early on. And so that's when I'm not even really sure. Can't remember how we heard of Rivers Bend, but we originally started with Stephanie back in, like I said, he's 31 now and he was 12. So that's when we started and we knew that we just couldn't handle it on our own. And I cannot speak highly enough about Stephanie and the entire office. Like I said, I'm still currently in therapy and I think I will be forever. I think every human being could benefit from some outside validation and help.
Thank you. My next question, you've been working with Stephanie for years. What is it about her approach or something that she said or did that has helped you feel seen throughout this process?
I think Stephanie's greatest strength, besides her incredible heart, it's obvious her deep willingness to genuinely want to help people. But I think what I love the most is she never tells you what you should do, how you should do it. She has a gift at getting you to come to those conclusions yourself, right? Like, how is it making you feel and how would you, right? What do you think you should do? She's never, I had I also had a couple of bad experiences with previous therapists. And to give you an example, the one therapist, my husband and I were having difficulties. So we were going to her. And the result of that long story, I came in and I said, well, I would love to stay married. I don't know, can a marriage get through these things? And her answer, without knowing, not really hardly even knowing me that well, was absolutely not. She had no idea of what I was thinking in my head, right? And like, I know what Stephanie would have said if it was her back in that day would have been, well, that depends, right? That depends. What are you feeling? How do what are you weighing this and this and this? I mean, she just has a really a gift at getting you to come to the resolutions basically on your own. She prompts you, gives you great tools and prompts. And her other greatest strength is validating your feelings, validating your thoughts, truly making you feel heard, seen, appreciated, and that you're not going totally nuts, right? I mean, there's days you think, oh my God, am I nuts? And there's days that she might agree, yeah, yeah, you kind of are, but she's pretty truthful. And she just has a unique way, no matter what I'm going through, whatever anxiety it is. I also lost my husband 5 years ago. So that prompted a rebirth in her and I's relationship. The last 5 years, I've been seeing her since he died. So she has helped me tremendously with my grief. She has helped me set boundaries. She helps me keep boundaries with the said son. And I can just be coming out of my skin and all I have to do is speak to Stephanie. And she just has a way of just a calm talking me off the cliff, right? Keeping me from the edge. And I'm so grateful for her. I can't even put into words, honestly, what she means to me. Like, I'll cry. We call her our guardian angel because
Oh,
she also sees my daughter, and, she's a part of our family. So,
that's wonderful.
mhm, yeah, she's amazing.
Wow. Kind of to piggyback on there when you started a while ago, but do you remember what a turning point, when people start therapy, they think it's going to be linear, and we know that,
Oh, no.
recovery is kind of all over. Can you recall a turning point or a small win that told you things were, starting to shift? For it might not have gotten better, but helping you understand those tools, implement the boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was just this past spring when I finally, had to draw a hard line in the sand and keeping that boundary and how I felt after. It's hard. I mean, it's so hard. And I remember just speaking to her and her just like almost jumping up and down. She's like, "Oh my God, yes, 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 that's it. You're getting it. Like yes, you're understanding, you're getting it." It was just a breakthrough in my life of I need to begin to live for me and protect my peace. And I mean, I've had many, many, many light bulb moments with her. Almost every session for somehow she will get a light to turn on. Like oh yeah, okay, okay, that makes sense. I mean, so that's just one example, but I would say every session, every time I speak to her, there's a shift somewhere. There's more deeper understanding. There's a better sense of being able to do what I need to do for my mental health to keep it in check.
On tougher days, looking back, how did Stephanie or Rivers Bend show up for you? Were there checks or check-ins or added sessions?
Anytime I need her. Anytime I need her. All I gotta do is text her. I mean, and you try not to abuse that, right? But there have been times it's 1 o'clock in the morning and she shows up every single time. Every single time. I honestly, and as I know, she just hasn't been taking new clients. And so I'm always constantly like, okay, so who's out there like you? Because I have all these people that will call me and say, I need Stephanie's number. I need Stephanie's number because they see and they know what she's done for me and my whole family. Not just myself, but she helped my son, she helps my daughter, she helped my husband and I when he was around. And yeah, she shows, I'm telling you, I could text her right now, and no matter what she's doing. It might not be immediate, but I will get an answer and she'll squeeze me in, she'll call me late, she'll call me early, yeah, she's amazing.
And my last question, for someone who's on the fence about reaching out, what would you want them to know about your experience with Rivers Bend? Or what would you tell, your earlier self or someone who's just starting this journey?
I would just say, like I said, my favorite mantra is that every human being can benefit from therapy, and I mean that. I think there's such a stigma, right? That, if you go, well, I think it's getting better, but
Mhm.
there's this always been this stigma of you need help. Well, what you need is you need an outside, right? You need someone, you can only go to your friends and your family for so much, and people can only be, biased to a certain extent. So they're professionals for a reason, right? They have ways of being able to get whatever it is that you're dealing with, whether it's anxiety, whether it's grief, whether it's substance abuse, whatever it is. Therapy just has a way, right? It's somebody else on the outside looking in that can get you to look at sometimes the really hard things, right? That a friend or a family member just can't do. And perfect example, when my daughter was struggling with an issue transitioning from college, out of college, and as a mom, right, I said to her, I said, I would like you to go and see Stephanie. And she said, well, what is she going to tell me? And I said, just go one time, just one time, and if you don't want to go again, you don't have to say a word. Well, that was what, 15 years ago, and she's still in therapy with Stephanie. So, yeah. So, I said it because as a mom, you can only, right? I can only be so, I go, you get to a certain stage in life, there's only so many things you can help with. And, I said, this is where as a mom, I have to step back and you need an outside, right? Because I know how I feel about the situation, right? But you need help coming to a conclusion yourself. So I can't stress enough. I think every human whether you have a major problem or not, whether it's just some life skills, just some life coaching, just everyday difficulties, I think every human can benefit from therapy, especially Rivers Bend and Stephanie, but if we
Right.
could just clone her, we'd be good.
I agree. Get 5 of her. That'd be
Yeah,
even
right?
better.
The world would be a better place.
Thank you. Those are all my questions. I don't know if you had anything else to add.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you did
No,
great.
just they're a great organization. Like I said, been many, many years. They've stepped up. They've helped my family. I'm indebted to for life, seriously, to her and all the staff there. Everybody's always been wonderful.